The Range Rover hit the water like thunder. Ngozi watched in horror as the black luxury vehicle crashed through the barrier and plunged into the river. Already exhausted from chasing it on her bicycle through 20 kilometers of Lagos traffic, she didn't hesitate. She kicked off her sneakers and dove in. The water was dark and cold. The car was sinking fast. Through the window, she could see him. Chief Adebayo, the kind billionaire who'd been tipping her generously for weeks. Trapped, panicking, she found a rock, smashed the rear window, reached through the broken glass, pulled him out, her lungs screaming for air, her vision going black. Somehow, they made it to the surface. They crawled on the muddy bank, coughing, gasping alive. For several minutes, neither could speak. Finally, Chief Adebayo looked at her, this young pizza delivery girl who just saved his life. Ngozi, how did you know to be here? She was shaking, bleeding from her arm where the glass had cut her. Sir, I tried to stop you. I chased you. My brakes failed. The car I couldn't stop it. Ngozi looked directly at him, her young face serious. Sir, it wasn't an accident. Someone cut your brakes. Someone wanted you to crash. Someone wanted you to die. His eyes widened. What? Who would? I know who did it, sir. I overheard everything. Tell me who tried to kill me. Before she could answer, they heard it, a car engine approaching. Ngozi grabbed his arm urgently. Sir, we need to hide. Now, if they see you're alive. Who's coming? Not now, sir. We have to hide first. Understanding flashed in his eyes. Together they scrambled into the thick bushes. Through the leaves, they watched as a silver Mercedes pulled up. A woman stepped out. Chief Adebayo's entire body went rigid. The woman walked calmly to the riverbank, looked down at the dark water, and pulled out her phone. Chitty, it's done. The car went into the river just like we planned. He's dead. We're finally free. Hello, guys. Welcome to African Tales by Zion. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, share it with your friends, and most importantly, turn on the notification bell so you can get informed when I drop another amazing stories. Drop your thoughts and reactions in the comments. What would you have done? Would you have jumped to save a drowning man, even if you might drown too? And stay tuned to find out the cause of the accident. Let's dive in. 3 weeks earlier. The Lagos heat was merciless as Ngozi pedaled her worn red bicycle through Ikeja's congested streets, weaving between Danfos and Okadas. At 19, she'd been delivering pizzas for 2 years, ever since her mother's health deteriorated and hospital bills consumed their meager savings. Her father had died when she was 12, leaving them with nothing but each other and a one-room apartment in Surulere that cost 50,000 Nigerian nairas a month. The pizza delivery job paid 30,000 Nigerian nairas a month plus tips, usually 200 Nigerian nairas or 500 Nigerian nairas. It kept them alive. Barely. Her current delivery was to Baba Musa's auto repairs in Ikeja. She parked outside the busy mechanic shop, where cars in various states of repair filled the compound. Good afternoon. Pizza delivery. An apprentice disappeared to get money, leaving Ngozi standing in the hot sun. That's when she heard voices from the partially open office window. A woman's voice. Educated. Cold. So if someone wanted brakes to fail, not immediately, but after about an hour driving, how would that work? Ngozi froze. A man's voice, older, hesitant. Madam, why you dare ask this kind question? Just answer me. Steel in the woman's voice. I'm paying you to answer, not question. Ngozi glanced around. No one was paying attention. She moved closer to the window, pretending to check her phone. Baba Musa sighed. If person cut the brake line small, the brake fluid go leak slowly. First time, brakes go work normal. But after 30 minutes, 1 hour, no brakes again. And it would look like an accident? Yes, madam. Like mechanical failure. Good. And if this happened on Lekki 8 Expressway near the river bend? That place dangerous. Sharp curve, weak barrier, deep water. If car no get brakes to that place. Exactly. I need you to work on a car for me. A black Range Rover Sport. The car belongs to my husband. Cut the brake line. Small. Subtle, so it fails after about an hour. Ngozi's heart pounded. This woman was planning to murder her husband. Madam, this not serious matter. Oh, if person die, 500,000 naira. Silence. 500,000 Nigerian nairas was more money than most mechanics made in 6 months. 1 million naira. Final offer. Take it or I go somewhere else. More silence. Then, the car plate number? LND 892 FK. Black Range Rover Sport. I'll bring it next week for routine service. You'll have 2 hours. When you want the accident to happen? In 3 weeks. He has a business meeting in Lekki. Perfect timing. Ngozi heard the woman's phone beep. 500,000 naira. Just send it. You'll get the balance when I read about the tragic accident in the newspapers. The conversation ended. Ngozi quickly moved away from the window. The apprentice returned with cash. She took it with shaking hands and pedaled away. As she left, a glamorous woman emerged from the office, designer sunglasses, expensive handbag, and got into a silver Mercedes without a glance at the pizza delivery girl. Ngozi tried to memorize everything. Silver Mercedes. The car plate number, LND 892 FK. Black Range Rover Sport. Someone's husband was going to die in 2 or 3 weeks on Lekki Ape Expressway. That night, Ngozi couldn't sleep. She lay on her thin mat, listening to her mother's labored breathing. Mama Okafor had been sick for 3 years, a chronic lung condition they couldn't afford to treat properly. Mama? Ngozi whispered. Yes, my daughter? If you heard someone planning something bad, something that could hurt someone else, but you didn't know the people involved, would you try to stop it? Mama was quiet. Then, your father used to say, when you can help, you must help. But Ngozi, what are you talking about? Nothing, Mama. Just a thought. Be careful, my daughter. Sometimes getting involved in other people's business can bring trouble. But lying in the darkness, Ngozi couldn't stop thinking about it. Somewhere out there was a man who had no idea his own wife was planning to kill him. Should she report it? To who? The police? They'd laugh at her. A pizza delivery girl with no proof except an overheard conversation? And what if reporting it put her in danger? What if that rich woman came after her? What if something happened to Mama? No, better to stay quiet. This wasn't her problem. But that night, Ngozi prayed. Really prayed. God, I don't know that man. I don't know anything about him except someone wants him dead. Please protect him. Let him survive. I can't help him. I don't even know who he is. But you know, please save him. She had no idea that in 3 days, she would meet the man whose life hung in the balance. 3 days later, Ngozi's last delivery was to Williams Tech Solutions in Victoria Island, one of those gleaming office buildings where rich people worked in air-conditioned comfort. When she reached the 10th floor with her delivery, a man emerged from Office 1005, mid-30s, expensive suit, looking tired. Ah, the pizza. Thank you. How much? 3,500 Nigerian nairas, sir. He handed her 5,000 Nigerian nairas. Keep the change. 1,500 Nigerian nairas tip? That was huge. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. He smiled tiredly. This pizza might be the only good thing that happens today. Ngozi noticed a nameplate. Chief Adebayo Williams, CEO. As she left, her worn bicycle chain finally snapped. She struggled to fix it when a voice asked, "Problem?" Chief Adebayo had returned. "You're the delivery girl. I've seen you here before." "Yes, sir. My chain broke." He looked at her worn clothes, exhausted face, broken bicycle. "That's hard work." "It's honest work, sir." "What's your name?" "Ngozi, sir. Ngozi Okafor." "I admire your work ethic. Do you have family?" "Yes, sir. My mother. She's sick. That's why I work." Pain flickered across his face. "Your father?" "He passed when I was 12, sir. Motor accident." "I'm sorry. I lost my father at 15. Palm wine tapper. Fell from a tree." He paused. "How old are you?" 19, sir. "You should be in university, not delivering pizzas." She laughed bitterly. University costs money, sir. I know what that's like. I grew up poor too, sold pure water on the streets. But I was determined to change my life. Don't give up on your dreams. What do you want to do? I want to be a nurse, sir. Help people. But school fees? Keep working. Keep believing it's possible. He pulled out his wallet. Here, for your mother's medicine. He handed her 5,000 Nigerian nairas. Tears filled her eyes. Sir, this is too much. It's not enough. Say you'll keep working toward your dreams. She nodded, tears spilling. Thank you, sir. God bless you. What's your mother sick with? Her lungs, sir. Treatment is expensive. Pain crossed his face again. I wish I could help more. But my wife controls our joint accounts. I can only help in small ways without complications. After he left, Ngozi stood holding the 5,000 Nigerian nairas like gold. That would buy Mama's medicine for 2 weeks. That night, she told Mama about the kind CEO. He wished he had a daughter like me. Mama smiled. Some people are meant to cross our paths. Maybe God sent him to encourage you. Neither knew their paths were about to become much more entangled. Over the next 2 weeks, Chief Adebayo started ordering pizza frequently, always requesting the girl on the bicycle. The tips were generous. 3,000 Nigerian nairas. For 1,000 Nigerian nairas, once 10,000 Nigerian nairas. Ngozi saved every naira. Their conversations deepened. How's your mother? He'd ask. Better, sir. The medicine helps. Still dreaming of nursing school? Always, sir. What was your jam score? 278, sir. His eyebrows rose. Excellent. You're clearly intelligent. Such a waste to just deliver pizzas. One day, he said wistfully, You remind me of the daughter I wish I had. His expression darkened when she mentioned his wife. My wife? She's not interested in children, or helping others. Our finances are joint. She questions every expense. I can only give small amounts without complications. Ngozi didn't understand marriage complications, but she senses loneliness. In a hollow marriage, these brief conversations with an earnest young woman reminded him why he'd worked so hard to help people who needed it. He'd married Stella 8 years ago, thinking she loved him, but she loved his money more. Always shopping, always spending. They had a joint account because she'd insisted, but sharing meant she controlled it. Got angry if he donated to charity. He wanted a family. She wanted a bank account. He didn't know that 2 weeks earlier, his wife had paid 500,000 Nigerian nairas to have him killed. And he didn't know that Ngozi knew. Beginning of the 3rd week, Ngozi made a delivery near Baba Musa's shop. As she pedaled past, her blood ran cold. The silver Mercedes, parked at Baba Musa's auto repairs. Through the bay door, she saw a black Range Rover Sport on the lift. The glamorous woman stood next to Baba Musa, talking in low tones. Then her voice rose. This Friday business meeting in Lekki around 3 p.m. Make sure. Friday, 2 days away. The woman handed Baba Musa something, probably the remaining 500,000 Nigerian nairas, then drove away. That night, Ngozi couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Ngozi, what's wrong? Mama asked. Nothing, Mama. Just thinking about a stranger. Someone I don't even know. But I know something bad is going to happen to them. And I don't know how to stop it. About what? I can't explain fully, Mama. But someone out there, someone's husband, his wife is planning something terrible. I overheard it, but I don't know who he is. I don't know how to warn him. Try anyway. Better try and be wrong than to not try and be right. But fear gripped Ngozi's heart. Warn him? Say, your wife is planning to kill you. He'd think she was crazy. Or he'd confront his wife, and the wife would know someone new, would come after Ngozi. No, too risky. All she could do was pray. And be alert. Friday arrived like a death sentence. Ngozi woke early, stomach in knots. She went through her morning routine mechanically, helping Mama with medicine, eating breakfast she couldn't taste. You looked sick, my daughter, Mama observed. Maybe rest a day. I can't, Mama. We need the money. But it wasn't about money. Today, She needed to be out there, watching, ready. She reported to work at 10 a.m. and started deliveries, but her mind wasn't on work. She kept checking the time. 3 p.m. The woman had said around 3 p.m. At 2:30 p.m., Ngozi traded deliveries to get one near Williams Tech Solutions. After completing it, she positioned herself on a bench outside, pretending to check her phone. She was watching the garage entrance. At 3:05 p.m., a familiar figure emerged. Chief Adebayo Williams, wearing a suit, carrying a briefcase, walking toward the garage. Ngozi stood up. Her legs felt weak. Minutes passed. Then she heard an engine. A black Range Rover Sport emerged from the garage, sleek and expensive, tinted windows reflecting the afternoon sun. Ngozi's breath caught. She couldn't see the plate number, but her gut knew, her racing heart knew, that was the car with cut brake lines. The car supposed to crash in about an hour on Lekki Ape Expressway. And Chief Adebayo Williams, the kind man who'd encourage her dreams, who'd help her mother, was driving it. No, Ngozi whispered. Oh, God, no. It's him. No way. Ngozi just realized the kind billionaire is a target. And now she has to make the hardest decision of her life. If your heart is racing right now, smash that like button. Subscribe to African Tales by Zion, because next chapter shows the most intense chase through Lagos traffic. Will she reach him before the brakes fail? Comment below, what would you do in this situation? Hit that notification bell, because you cannot miss what happens next. Lagos traffic, usually the bane of every commuter's existence, was now her only hope. As they moved from Victoria Island toward Lekki, cars clogged every lane. Ngozi wove her bicycle between vehicles, legs burning, lungs screaming. Sweat soaked her orange Mama Rosa's t-shirt. Her recently repaired chain made ominous clicking sounds. Move. Please move, she gasped, squeezing between a Danfo and a Mercedes. Drivers honked. Crazy girl. You go kill yourself. She didn't care. Ahead, barely visible through the traffic, was the black Range Rover. At the first traffic light, she got within 20 meters. She could see Chief Adebayo's silhouette through the tinted windows. Sir, Chief Adebayo, she screamed, pedaling frantically. But his windows were up, music playing. He couldn't hear her. The light turned green. The Range Rover accelerated. Ngozi pushed harder, weaving dangerously between cars. A truck nearly clipped her. An Okada driver cursed at her. She didn't stop. Another traffic light. She was falling behind. The Range Rover was 2 car lengths ahead, then 3, then 5. Her legs felt like fire. Her chest burned, but she kept pedaling. They reached Lekki. Traffic thinned. The Range Rover picked up speed. No. Ngozi sobbed, pushing her bicycle beyond its limits. Please, God, help me catch him. But bicycles weren't meant for highway speeds. She watched helplessly as the Range Rover pulled further away. 50 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters. She was losing him. Then she remembered. The brakes would fail after about an hour of driving. He'd left the office around 3:05 p.m. That meant the brakes would fail around 4 to 4:15 p.m. Ngozi checked her phone. 3:47 p.m. He had maybe 25 minutes before the brakes failed. And according to the plan she'd overheard, the crash was supposed to happen at the river bend on Lekki Ape Expressway. That was still 10 kilometers away. Maybe more. If she could get there before him, maybe she could flag him down, warn him, stop him. But how? He was in a car traveling at highway speed. She was on a bicycle that was falling apart. Think, Ngozi, think, she muttered, still pedaling though her legs screamed in protest. There was a shortcut, a rough road that branched off before the expressway. Locals used it to avoid traffic. It was bumpy, dangerous, unpaved in places. But it was shorter by at least 3 kilometers. Ngozi made a split-second decision. At the next junction, she veered right onto the rough road. The bicycle bounced violently over potholes. Twice she nearly fell. Her delivery bag flew off. She left it. The chain made a horrible grinding sound. She ignored it. She pedaled like her life depended on it. Because someone's life did depend on it. The shortcut was brutal. Dust filled her lungs. Stones cut her tires. Sweat and tears mixed on her face. But she kept going, praying with every pedal. Please, God, let me make it. Please let me reach him. At 4:02 p.m., she emerged back onto the main road, half a kilometer before the river bend. She looked back. No Range Rover yet. Relief flooded through her. She'd gotten ahead of him. Now she just needed to position herself in the middle of the road where he'd have to stop. Then she heard it. The sound of a powerful engine approaching fast. Too fast. The black Range Rover came speeding around the curve, weaving erratically. Ngozi's heart stopped. The brakes had already failed. She watched in horror as Chief Adebayo pumped the brakes desperately. The car swerved left, then right. He was trying everything, downshifting, pulling the handbrake, but at that speed, nothing worked. The dangerous curve was coming up. The weak barrier, the river beyond. Ngozi screamed, "Jump out! Sir, jump out of the car." But he couldn't hear her. The windows were up. He was trapped in a metal death machine hurtling toward the river. Time seemed to slow down. She saw his face through the windshield, terror and confusion. Saw his hands wrenching the steering wheel. Saw the moment he realized he was going to crash. The Range Rover hit the curve at full speed. The tires screamed. The car skidded sideways. Hit the weak barrier. Metal screeched. The barrier crumpled like paper. And the Range Rover, with Chief Adebayo inside, plunged over the edge into the dark river below. For a moment, Ngozi stood frozen, her worst nightmare unfolding before her eyes. Then she ran. She threw her bicycle down and sprinted to the riverbank. The Range Rover had landed upright, but was sinking fast, nose first into the murky water. Through the rear window, she could see Chief Adebayo struggling with his seatbelt, panic on his face. The car was filling with water. Ngozi didn't think, didn't hesitate, didn't consider that she'd only learned to swim as a child in the village, and barely. She kicked off her sneakers and dove in. The water was shockingly cold, dark, terrifying. The current pulled at her immediately, but she swam toward the sinking car with everything she had. By the time she reached it, water was halfway up the windows. Chief Adebayo was still trapped inside, beating his fist against the glass. The doors wouldn't open, water pressure. The windows were electronic. Dead. Ngozi dove under, searching frantically. She needed something heavy. A rock. Anything. Her lungs burned. Her vision blurred. But she found a large stone on the riverbed and surfaced. The car was almost completely submerged now. Only the roof was visible. She took the deepest breath of her life and dove again. She swam to the rear window and slammed the rock against it. Once, twice, 3 times. On the 4th hit, the glass spiderwebbed. On the 5th hit, it shattered. Water rushed into the car. Chief Adebayo's eyes met hers through the broken window. Gratitude and disbelief and hope. Ngozi reached through the sharp glass, cutting her arm, and grabbed his hand. Pulled with all her strength. He pushed from inside. Together they got him through the window. But Ngozi's lungs were empty. Black spots danced in her vision. Her muscles screamed. The surface looked so far away. They kicked upward, Chief Adebayo helping now, his arm around her. Her vision narrowed to a tunnel. Her body wanted to give up, but they broke the surface. Both gasped for air, coughing, choking, alive. The current carried them downstream. Ngozi's arms felt like lead, but she kept kicking, kept moving toward the bank. Chief Adebayo, despite his shock, helped support her. Together they made it to the muddy shore and crawled out, collapsing on the ground. For several minutes, neither could speak. They just lay there, coughing up river water, breathing hard, trembling. Finally, Chief Adebayo turned to look at her, this 19-year-old pizza delivery girl, who just saved his life at the risk of her own. Ngozi, his voice was hoarse. How did you know to be here? She was shaking violently, bleeding from her arm where the glass had cut her. Sir, I tried to stop you. I chased you from Victoria Island. I tried to warn you. My brakes failed. The car I couldn't stop it. But how did you know? How were you here at the exact moment? Ngozi looked directly at him. her young face serious despite her exhaustion. Sir, it wasn't an accident. Someone cut your brakes. Someone planned this. Someone wanted you to die in this exact spot. His eyes widened in shock. What? That's impossible. Who would? I overheard everything, sir. 3 weeks ago, a woman paid the mechanic 1 million naira to cut your brake lines. She planned everything. The timing, the location, everything. Who? Who would do that? Before she could answer, they heard it. A car engine approaching on the road above. Ngozi grabbed his arm urgently. Sir, we need to hide. Now. They're coming to check if you're dead. If they see you're alive. Who? Who's coming? Not now, sir. Questions later. We have to hide first. The terror in her voice convinced him. Together they scrambled up the bank and into the thick bushes, just as a silver Mercedes pulled up to the broken barrier. Through the leaves, they watched as a woman stepped out. She was beautiful, designer clothes, expensive sunglasses, perfectly styled hair. She walked calmly to the edge, looked down to dark water where bubbles still rose from the submerged Range Rover, and pulled out her phone. Chief Adebayo's entire body went rigid. Ngozi fell intense beside her. The woman smiled as she spoke into the phone. Chitty, it's done. The car went into the river just like we planned. He's dead. We're finally free. She laughed. Actually laughed. No, I'm looking at it right now. The car is completely submerged. No way he survived. In a few hours, I'll report him missing. By the time they find the car, it'll look like a tragic accident. Brake failure. Another pause. Then cold satisfaction in her voice. Yes, baby. All of it. The house, the businesses, the bank accounts. Everything. We just have to wait a few weeks for the legal process. She ended the call, took one more look at the river, then got back in her Mercedes and drove away. In the bushes, Chief Adebayo Williams stared at the spot where his wife had been standing, his face a mixture of betrayal, rage, and heartbreak so profound that Ngozi felt tears on her own cheeks. That was... His voice broke. That was Stella, my wife. I know, sir. I'm so sorry. She tried to kill me. She planned my death. She was laughing. His hands were shaking. 8 years. We've been married 8 years. And she wanted me dead for money? Sir, I'm so sorry. But we need to move. We need to get you somewhere safe. If she finds out you survived, she'll try again. Understanding dawned in his eyes. She'll have to. If I'm alive, I can expose her. Yes, sir. And she has a partner. Chitty. I heard them talking. They're in this together. Chief Adebayo nodded slowly, his business mind taking over despite the emotional devastation. We need to go to the police. We need evidence. We need... Sir, with respect, we can't just go to the police. She's your wife. Rich. Connected. Without solid proof. It's your word against hers. And right now, you're supposed to be dead. That's our advantage. He looked at her with new respect. You're right. You're absolutely right. So what do we do? Ngozi thought fast. We need to hide you. Let her think you're dead. Then we gather evidence and strike when she's not expecting it. Where can I hide? She knows all my properties, all my friends. Not all, sir. Ngozi stood up, still dripping wet, still trembling, but with determination in her eyes. She doesn't know about a one-room apartment in Suralere, where a pizza delivery girl lives with her sick mother. No one would ever think to look for a billionaire CEO there. He stared at her. You'd risk that? Risk hiding me? If she finds out, you and your mother could be in danger. You helped us when we needed it, sir. Now we help you. That's what good people do. In that moment, Chief Adebayo Williams knew that this brave young woman had not only saved his life, she might be the only person in the world he could trust. Okay, he said. But first, we need to get away from here before anyone sees us. Ngozi. Yes, sir? Thank you. You saved my life. I owe you everything. She managed a small smile despite everything. You can thank me when this is over, sir. Right now we need to disappear. Hold up. His own wife tried to kill him and was celebrating his death. but she doesn't know he survived. Smash that like button right now. Subscribe to African Tales by Zion because next chapter reveals the dangerous sting operation to catch Stella red-handed. Comment, would you risk everything to catch a murderer? Hit that notification bell because the next chapter will blow your mind. Ngozi's one-room apartment in Surulere had never housed anyone more important than her sick mother. Now it was hiding a billionaire CEO presumed dead. They'd made it there after dark, taking side streets and avoiding main roads. Chief Adebayo wore a borrowed shirt from a roadside vendor, his expensive suit abandoned. They looked like ordinary Lagos residents, tired, poor, invisible. Mama Okafor nearly fainted when she saw them. Ngozi, what happened? Why are you soaking wet? And who is this man? Mama, this is Chief Adebayo, the kind man I told you about. Someone tried to kill him today. We need to hide him here. Please, Mama. Mama looked at the terror in her daughter's eyes, then at the exhausted man dripping water on their floor, and made a decision only a mother could make. Come in, both of you. Let me get towels and hot tea. That night, they told Mama everything. She sat quietly, her face growing more horrified with each detail. Your own wife? She whispered to Chief Adebayo. How can a woman do this? I don't know, Mama. His voice was hollow. I thought she loved me. I gave her everything. How could I have been so blind? Love makes us blind sometimes, Mama said gently. But now we must be smart. Ngozi is right. We need to let this woman think you are dead. Let her celebrate. Let her make mistakes. Then we catch her. But how? Chief Adebayo asked. I want her arrested, but we need proof. Real proof. Ngozi thought hard. She's going to act as a grieving widow, right? Report you missing, act sad for cameras. But she's also going to celebrate with this chitty person. If we could record her confessing. A confession? Chief Adebayo said, his eyes lighting up. If she thinks I'm dead and no one is listening, she might talk freely. But how do we get her to confess? Who could she confess to? They sat in silence, thinking. Then Mama said quietly, said the girl. What? Ngozi and Chief Adebayo spoke together. Send Ngozi. Think about it. Stella doesn't know her, doesn't know she was there. If Ngozi goes to her as a concerned citizen who saw something strange, or better yet, as someone offering condolences, Stella might talk. Rich people love to brag, especially to those they think are beneath them. No, Chief Adebayo said immediately. Too dangerous. I won't put Ngozi at more risk. With respect, sir, Ngozi interrupted. Mama is right. Stella doesn't know me. I'm just a pizza delivery girl. Invisible. If I approach her correctly, I can get her to talk. And if she suspects, if she realizes you know too much, then I'll be careful. But, sir, this might be our only chance. The police need evidence. We need evidence. A recorded confession is the best proof. They debated until late into the night. Finally, Chief Adebayo agreed, but only with conditions. They'd involve Detective Amara Nwosu, his old friend from his poor days who'd made it to the police force. She'd supervise everything, provide a wire, and have officers ready to move. The next morning, Chief Adebayo made a secret call from a borrowed phone. Detective Amara arrived at the apartment hours later, a sharp-eyed woman in her 40s who listened to their story with growing anger. This is attempted murder, conspiracy, and fraud, she said. If we can get her confession on tape, she'll go to prison for 20 years minimum. But Ngozi, you understand the risk? I understand. Good. We'll wire you up. I'll have officers nearby, but they can't be too close or she'll spot them. You'll be alone with a potential murderer. Ngozi swallowed hard but nodded. They spent the rest of Saturday planning. Detective Amara brought a small recording device, sophisticated, nearly invisible. They rehearsed what Ngozi would say, how she'd approach Stella, how to get her talking. The key, Detective Amara explained, is to make her feel superior to you. Play the poor, naive girl. Ask innocent-sounding questions. Let her pride do the work. Rich people love to gloat, especially to those they think don't matter. Sunday afternoon, the plan was set. The news had broken that morning. Billionaire CEO Chief Adebayo Williams missing after car plunge into river. Stella had reported him missing late Friday evening, claiming he never came home from his business meeting. Divers were searching the river. The car had been found, but no body yet. Stella was playing the devastated wife perfectly, crying for cameras, accepting condolences, wearing black. Ngozi, wearing the wire under a simple black dress, took a bus to the Williams mansion in Ikoyi. The house was massive, white pillars, manicured gardens, wealth everywhere she looked. Her hands shook as she rang the doorbell. A maid answered. Yes. Good afternoon. I'm Ngozi. I came to offer my condolences to Mrs. Williams. Chief Adebayo used to order pizza from where I work. He was always so kind. I just wanted to say sorry. The maid looked at her with pity and disappeared. Minutes later, she returned. Madam will see you. Come in. Ngozi entered the mansion, her heart pounding so hard she was sure everyone could hear it. The recording device felt like it was burning against her skin. The living room was enormous. Expensive furniture, art on the walls, floor-to-ceiling windows. And there, lounging on a white leather sofa with a wine glass in hand, was Stella Williams. She wasn't crying now. In fact, she looked relaxed. Happy, even. Oh, how sweet, Stella said, her voice dripping with false warmth. The pizza girl. Come in, come in. You said my husband was kind to you. Yes, ma'am. He always tipped well. Even talked to me sometimes. He seemed like such a good man. I'm so sorry for your loss. Thank you, dear. Stella took a sip of wine. Yes, he was a good man. Ngozi saw a movement from a corner of her eye. A man emerged from another room, tall, muscular, handsome. This must be Chitty. Who's this? He asked Stella. Just a pizza delivery girl offering condolences. Isn't that sweet? Stella laughed, a sound that made Ngozi's skin crawl. My husband gave her large tips, apparently. He always did have a soft heart for sob stories. Stella, maybe not. Chitty began, but Stella waved him off. Oh, please, she's nobody. Just a poor girl. Right, dear? This was it. The moment Detective Amara had prepared her for. Make Stella feel superior. Let her gloat. Ngozi nodded, playing the part. Yes, ma'am. I'm nobody. Just trying to get by. But Chief Adebayo, he encouraged me. Said I could do more with my life. He even gave me money for my mother's medicine once. How charitable, Stella said, her voice mocking. He loved playing the generous saint, throwing money at every poor person with a sad story while I had to manage our actual wealth. He must have loved you very much, ma'am, Ngozi said softly, being married to someone so successful. Stella laughed again, bitter this time. Love me? Oh, sweet girl, you have no idea. This marriage was a business arrangement. He wanted someone beautiful on his arm. I wanted access to his money. Love had nothing to do with it. Stella. Chitty warned, but she ignored him. 8 years, Stella continued, the wine loosening her tongue. 8 years of pretending to care about his boring business, his charity work, his dreams of helping people. 8 years of him controlling the money, questioning every purchase, refusing to just enjoy wealth. We should save, he'd say. We should give back. Give back? To who? To pizza girls? Ngozi forced tears into her eyes. That's so sad, ma'am. But at least you had time together before the accident. Accident, Stella repeated, then laughed again. Yes, the accident. Tragic brake failure. Such terrible luck. Stella, shut up, Chitty said urgently. But Stella was in full flow now, drunk on wine and success. You know what, pizza girl? Can I tell you a secret? Ngozi's heart raced. A secret, ma'am? I hated him. I've hated him for years. And yesterday, when his car went into that river, she paused dramatically. I was the happiest I've been in 8 years. Ma'am! Ngozi gasped, playing shocked. Oh, don't look so scandalized. He's gone. The insurance alone is worth millions. Plus the properties, the business, all of it. Finally mine. Finally free. She raised her wine glass. To break failure. You're talking too much, Chitty said nervously. Why? She's nobody. Who's she going to tell? Stella looked at Ngozi with cold calculation. You won't tell anyone, will you, dear? No, ma'am. Of course not. Good. Because even if you did, who would believe a poor pizza delivery girl over a grieving widow? I've got lawyers, money, connections. You've got nothing. This was the moment. Ngozi took a breath and asked a question they needed answered. Ma'am, can I ask, how do brakes fail? I heard on the news they're investigating. Stella smiled, a predator's smile. Oh, they'll find it was mechanical failure. Old brake line that burst. Tragic, but not suspicious. That's what the mechanic said, anyway. The mechanic? Baba Musa in Ikeja. Cost me 1 million naira, but worth every kobo. He cut the brake line perfectly. Small hole that leaked slowly. Adebayo drove for an hour before the brakes failed. By then, he was at the perfect spot on Lekki Ape Expressway. Sharp curve, weak barrier, deep water. Planned it for weeks. Chitty stood up. Stella, stop. Now! But Stella was too far gone. You want to know the best part? I made sure he drove on Friday because I knew he had a meeting in Lekki. I called his secretary, set up a fake appointment, timed it perfectly, and when I got the confirmation that his car went into the river, she laughed. I've never felt such joy. Ngozi forced herself to look awed instead of horrified. That's incredible, ma'am. You planned everything. Every detail. Chitty and I have been planning this for 6 months. We're in love, you see. Have been for 2 years. But Adebayo would never give me a divorce. Said marriage is sacred. So we had to remove him. We're done here, Chitty said, grabbing Stella's arm. This girl needs to leave. But Stella pulled away. Why? I'm just talking. Besides, she looked at Ngozi with calculated cruelty. Pizza girl, how much do you make a month? 30,000 Nigerian nairas, ma'am. Pathetic. I spend more on handbags. Here's what I'll do. I'll give you 500,000 Nigerian nairas to forget this conversation ever happened. Buy your mother's medicine. Get a new bicycle. Just forget we talked. This was it. The full confession. On tape. But Ngozi needed one more thing. Ma'am, that's very generous. But what if someone finds out? What if the police investigate? They won't. The mechanic won't talk. He's got too much to lose. And even if they suspect something, there's no proof. The car is submerged. Brake lines will look naturally corroded by river water. It's perfect. She smiled. My husband was smart, but I was smarter. And now I'm rich and free. Ngozi stood up, pretending to be overwhelmed. Thank you for the offer, ma'am. I should go. Take the money, Stella insisted, pulling out her phone. What's your account number? Before Ngozi could answer, she spoke. Speaking words that she'd been holding back, words that felt like throwing a bomb into the room. Actually, ma'am, I have a confession, too. Stella looked up. What? He didn't die, Ngozi said softly. Chief Adebayo, he didn't die in the river. The room froze. What are you talking about? Stella's voice was ice. I saved him. I dove into the river and pulled him out. He's alive, ma'am. And he's been listening to every word you just said. Stella's face went white. That's not possible. The car sank. No one could survive. I did it. I pulled him out. And everything you just said about planning his murder, about paying a mechanic, about wanting him dead, it's all recorded. Stella lunged forward with a scream of rage. You little. But the front door burst open. Detective Amara rushed in with uniformed officers. Stella Williams, you're under arrest for attempted murder. Conspiracy to commit murder and fraud. Stella screamed. No! No, this is a trap. She tricked me. You confessed on tape, Detective Amara said coldly. Everything. We have every word. Chitty, do something. But Chitty was being handcuffed too, charged with conspiracy. And then from the doorway, a figure appeared. Chief Adebayo Williams, alive, wet hair but determined, walked into his own house. Stella's face crumbled when she saw him, not with relief, with horror. "Adebayo, you're alive?" "No thanks to you," he said, his voice breaking. 8 years, Stella. 8 years I loved you. I trusted you. I gave you everything. And you tried to murder me for money. I can explain. You just did. We all heard it. Every word. Every confession. Every detail of how you planned to kill me." Stella collapsed, screaming, as officers dragged her toward the police car. "It was Chitty's idea. He made me do it. I never wanted to hurt you." But her earlier laughter, her pride in planning the perfect murder, it was all on tape. As they took her away, Chief Adebayo turned to Ngozi, who was shaking with adrenaline and relief. "You were so brave," he said. "You saved my life twice now. I just did what my father taught me." Ngozi whispered, "When you can help, you must help." Detective Amara pulled them both aside. "This goes to trial in 3 weeks. With that recording, it's an open-end shut case. She's going to prison for a very long time." And as Ngozi left the mansion that day, leaving behind the wealth, the luxury, the danger, she felt something she hadn't felt in years. Hope, because for the first time, she'd proven that one brave person really could change everything. This is insane. Stella confessed to everything on tape, but will she actually go to prison? If you're shook right now, smash that like button. Subscribe to African Tales by Zion, because next chapter shows the explosive courtroom trial that will leave you speechless. Comment, what sentence should she get? Hit that bell, because justice is about to be served. 3 weeks later, Lagos High Court was packed. The case of the state versus Stella Williams had gripped the nation. A wealthy woman trying to murder her husband for money. The recording of her confession had leaked to the press. Nigeria was watching. Ngozi sat in the witness section, wearing a simple black pantsuit borrowed from Detective Amara. Beside her sat Mama Okafor, healthier now with proper medication that Chief Adebayo had insisted on paying for. "Are you nervous, my daughter?" Mama whispered. "Very nervous, Mama." "You're doing the right thing. Truth always wins in the end." Ngozi hoped that was true, but looking at Stella across the courtroom, expensive lawyers flanking her, designer black dress, perfectly styled hair, she worried. Rich people had ways of escaping justice. Chief Adebayo sat in the front row, his face unreadable. 3 weeks hadn't been enough to heal the betrayal. How do you recover from learning your wife tried to murder you? The judge entered. Justice Adewale, a stern woman in her 60s known for harsh sentences. All rise. The trial began. The prosecution went first. They played the recording. Every word. Stella's voice filled the courtroom. "I hated him. I was the happiest I've been in 8 years when his car went into that river. Planned it for weeks. Baba Musa cut the brake line perfectly. Cost me ₦1,000,000, but worth every kobo." The courtroom gasped. Jurors looked horrified. Spectators whispered. Stella sat stone-faced, her lawyers whispering urgently. Then came the witnesses. First, Baba Musa the mechanic. He'd taken immunity in exchange for testimony. "Yes, she paid me ₦1,000,000, he admitted, shame on his face. She told me exactly how to cut the brake line. Small hole, slow leak. I did it. I'm ashamed. But she said if I didn't do it, she'd find someone else." "So you cut the brake lines knowing it would cause Chief Williams' death?" the prosecutor asked. "Yes, sir. God forgive me." Next, Detective Amara testified about the sting operation, about how Ngozi had risked her life to get the confession. "This young woman showed more courage than most officers I know," Detective Amara said. "She went into a dangerous situation to get justice for a man she barely knew. That recording is legitimate, unedited, and damning." Then it was Ngozi's turn. Her hands shook as she walked to the witness stand. All those people watching. The media, the cameras. "Miss Okafor," the prosecutor began gently, "can you tell us how you became involved in this case?" Ngozi took a breath and told her story. The overheard conversation at the mechanic shop, meeting Chief Adebayo, realizing he was a target, the desperate bicycle chase, the rescue from the sinking car. "Why did you risk your life to save him?" the prosecutor asked. Because my father taught me, when you can help, you must help. Chief Adebayo was kind to me when he didn't have to be. He helped my mother when we were struggling. How could I let him die when I knew about the danger? And the sting operation? Why volunteer for something so dangerous? Because Mrs. Williams needed to face justice. The recording was the only way to prove what she'd done. Someone had to get her to confess. Thank you, Miss Okafor. No further questions. Then came Stella's lawyers for cross-examination. The lead lawyer, expensive suit, slick back hair, approached with a predatory smile. Miss Okafor, you're a pizza delivery girl, correct? Yes, sir. Making what, 30,000 Nigerian nairas a month? Yes, sir. And Chief Williams gave you generous tips? As much as 10,000 Nigerian nairas at a time. Yes, sir. Isn't it possible you fabricated this entire story to get money from Chief Williams? Saw an opportunity to become close to a rich man and exploited it. Ngozi felt anger flash through her. No, sir, that's not true. Really? Because it's convenient, isn't it? You happen to overhear a murder plot. You happen to be there when the car crashes. You happen to save the rich man. Now you're sitting in his house. He's paying your mother's medical bills. Objection! The prosecutor stood. Speculation and badgering the witness. Sustained, the judge said. Counsel, stick to facts. The lawyer smiled coldly. Miss Okafor, did Chief Williams promise you money to testify against his wife? No, sir. Has he given you money since the incident? He paid for my mother's medicine, but he didn't ask anything in return. How much medicine are we talking about? I don't know the exact amount. 500,000 Nigerian nairas, the lawyer said triumphantly. He's paid 500,000 Nigerian nairas for your mother's treatment. Doesn't that create a bias? Ngozi felt tears prick her eyes, but she held firm. He's a good man who helps someone in need. That doesn't make me a liar. No further questions, the lawyer said dismissively. But the prosecution had a rebuttal. Miss Okafor, why did you pray for Chief Williams' safety 3 weeks before the accident? Before you even knew who he was? Ngozi blinked. How do you know I prayed? Your mother testified in her deposition. You came home distressed after overhearing the plot. You prayed for the unknown victim. Is that true? Yes, sir. If you were fabricating this story for money, why would you have prayed for a stranger weeks before the accident? Silence. The logic was undeniable. The prosecutor continued. The defense wants you to believe this young woman orchestrated an elaborate scheme, but the evidence shows she's simply an honest person who did the right thing at great personal risk. The recording speaks for itself. Over the next 2 days, more evidence piled up. Bank records showing Stella's 500,000 Nigerian nairas transfer to Baba Musa. Phone records showing dozens of calls between Stella and Chitty in the weeks before the accident. Testimony from Chief Adebayo's secretary about the fake meeting Stella had arranged. Evidence that Stella had been taking birth control pills for 8 years while telling her husband she was trying to get pregnant, proving the depth of her deception. Financial records showing Stella had changed the insurance beneficiary details 2 weeks before the murder attempt, ensuring she'd get everything immediately. Each piece of evidence made the jury's faces harder, more disgusted. Finally, Stella took the stand in her own defense. Her lawyers had clearly coached her. She wore simple clothes, minimal makeup, affected a soft voice. I never wanted to hurt anyone, she said, dabbing at dry eyes. That recording? I was drunk, showing off to impress a poor girl. I didn't mean any of it. So you didn't plan your husband's death? Her lawyer asked. No, I love Adebayo. I was devastated when I thought he was dead. That confession was just alcohol talking. Fantasy, not real plans. And Baba Musa's testimony? He's lying to save himself. He must have cut the brakes without my knowledge, trying to frame me. And the bank transfer? I did pay him 500,000 Nigerian nairas, but for legitimate car repairs. He's the one who turned it into something sinister. It was a desperate defense. The prosecutor tore it apart on cross-examination. Mrs. Williams, you said you were devastated when you thought your husband was dead. Yet on the recording, you're heard laughing and celebrating. How do you explain that? I was drunk. I didn't know what I was saying. You knew enough to describe the exact method of brake sabotage, the exact location where you planned the crash, the exact timing. That's very detailed for drunk fantasy. I must have been more drunk than I thought. Mrs. Williams, why did you call Chitty Obi immediately after confirming your husband's car went into the river? Say it's done. We're finally free. Stella paled. That's taken out of context. The phone records are clear. You called him at 4:17 p.m. on Friday, exactly 2 minutes after arriving at the crash site. What else could Stella mean? No answer. Mrs. Williams, if you loved your husband as you claim, why were you having a 2-year affair with Chitty Obi? We were just friends. We have hotel receipts, text messages, bank transfers. You weren't just friends. You were lovers planning a future together, a future that required your husband's death. Stella broke down crying, but they were tears of frustration, not remorse. Even the jury could see it. Chitty's testimony was brief. He'd taken a plea deal, admitting conspiracy in exchange for a reduced sentence. He confirmed everything. The affair, the planning, the celebration when they thought Adebayo was dead. It was Stella's idea, he said. I just went along with it. So you're saying she masterminded the murder plot? Yes. She planned everything. I loved her. I did what she asked. It didn't help Stella's case. On the 5th day, closing arguments began. The prosecution was devastating. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is not a complicated case. You've heard the defendant's own voice confessing to murder. You've heard the mechanic admit to cutting the brakes on her orders. You've seen the financial evidence, the phone records, the timeline. Stella Williams tried to murder her husband for money. She planned it meticulously. She celebrated when she thought she'd succeeded. The only reason Chief Adebayo Williams is alive today is because of the heroism of Ngozi Okafor, a 19-year-old girl who risked everything to save a man she barely knew. Don't let the defendant's lies and excuses obscure the truth. She's guilty, and she deserves to pay for her crimes. The defense tried. My client made mistakes. She had an affair. She said terrible things while drunk, but saying something and doing something are different. Yes, the brake line was cut, but by a mechanic trying to frame her. Yes, she celebrated, but she thought her husband died in an accident, and sometimes people react strangely to grief. Don't convict her based on a recording made under duress, with alcohol involved, meant to impress a stranger. But no one was convinced. The jury deliberated for only 3 hours. When they returned, the 4 women stood. On the count of attempted murder in the first degree, how do you find? Guilty. On the count of conspiracy to commit murder? Guilty. On the count of fraud and insurance manipulation? Guilty. Stella screamed. Her lawyers tried to calm her, but she was hysterical. No, this isn't fair. I'm the victim here. That girl ruined everything. Bailiffs restrained her as the judge called for order. A week later, sentencing day arrived. Justice Adewale looked at Stella with cold contempt. Mrs. Williams, I have seen many cases in my career, but few have shown such calculated cruelty as yours. You didn't just try to kill your husband. You planned it meticulously. You manipulated a mechanic. You timed everything perfectly. And when you thought you'd succeeded, you laughed. This court has no sympathy for you. Stella was crying now, real tears of fear. For attempted murder in the first degree, I sentence you to 20 years in prison. For conspiracy, 5 years concurrent. For fraud, 3 years concurrent. You will serve a minimum of 15 years before being eligible for parole. Additionally, you forfeit all rights to Chief Williams' estate, properties, and insurance. You will leave this marriage with nothing, exactly what you deserve. Stella collapsed. Bailiffs carried her out, still screaming. Chitty received 10 years for conspiracy, with parole possible after 5. Outside the courthouse, media swarmed. Chief Adebayo made a brief statement. Justice has been served today. I want to thank Detective Amara Nwosu for her excellent work. And most importantly, I want to thank Ngozi Okafor, whose courage and selflessness saved my life and brought a criminal to justice. She's a hero." Reporters turned to Ngozi. "Miss Okafor, how do you feel?" She looked at the cameras. This 19-year-old pizza delivery girl who'd changed everything. "I just did what my father taught me. When you can help, you must help. I hope this case reminds people that good still exists. That one brave choice can change everything. And that justice, even when delayed, will eventually be served." As she walked away with Mama and Chief Adebayo, Ngozi felt something she'd never felt before. Pride, because she'd proven that you don't need to be rich or powerful to make a difference. You just need to be brave. Justice served. 20 years in prison. Did Stella get what she deserved? If you're celebrating right now, smash that like button. Subscribe to African Tales by Zion because the final chapter shows Ngozi's incredible transformation from pizza girl to something amazing. Comment, what do you think happens to Ngozi next? Hit that bell because the ending will shock you. 6 months after the trial, Ngozi stood at the gates of the University of Lagos, acceptance letter trembling in her hands. She'd done it. Despite everything, the poverty, the struggles, the near-death experience, she was going to university. She was going to become a nurse. "Congratulations, my daughter," Mama whispered, tears streaming down her face. "Your father would be so proud." Chief Adebayo stood beside them, smiling like the proud father he'd never had the chance to be. "This is just the beginning. Ngozi, just the beginning." After the trial, Chief Adebayo had asked Ngozi to meet him at his office. She'd gone nervously, unsure what to expect. "I've been thinking," he'd said, "about what you did for me, about the daughter I never had, about family. Sir, Ngozi, in Nigeria, adult adoption is legal. With your permission and your mother's, I'd like to legally adopt you, not to replace your father. Never that, but to become the family you deserve. The family I never got to have." Ngozi had stared at him in shock. "Sir, you don't have to." "I know I don't have to. I want to. You saved my life twice. You risked everything for a stranger. You're brave, intelligent, kind. Everything I'd want in a daughter. Let me help you build the life you deserve. Please." She cried then. So had he. The adoption was finalized 4 months later. Ngozi Okafor became Ngozi Williams Okafor, keeping her father's name while honoring the man who became her guardian. Chief Adebayo moved Ngozi and Mama into the guest house on his property, a beautiful 3-bedroom home with a garden. Mama had her own room, proper medical care, and for the first time in years, she could breathe easily. "I'm not replacing your father," Chief Adebayo told Ngozi. I'm trying to be what you need. A mentor, a supporter, a father figure if you'll let me." "You already are," Ngozi said. "From the moment you gave me that first generous tip and encouraged my dreams, you've been looking out for me." He paid her university fees in full. 4 years at the University of Lagos nursing program. Bought her textbooks, a laptop, everything she needed. "Focus on your studies," he said. "No more pizza deliveries. No more struggling. Just learn. Just grow. Just become the nurse you're meant to be." Ngozi excelled in university. The same determination that had made her chase a car on a bicycle now fueled her academics. She studied late into the night, volunteered at clinics on weekends, absorbed everything she could about medicine and care. Her professors loved her. "Miss Williams Okafor, you have a gift for this. Patients trust you. You have empathy combined with knowledge. That's rare." In her second year, she met Dr. Samuel Adeyemi, a young doctor doing his residency at Lagos University Teaching Hospital. He was kind, intelligent, and dedicated to helping underserved communities. "I grew up poor too," he told her on their third date. "I know what it's like to feel invisible. That's why I became a doctor, to see the invisible people and help them." Ngozi knew she'd found her partner. They married in her 4th year of university. Chief Adebayo walked her down the aisle, tears streaming down his face. "Your father would be so proud," he whispered. "I think both my fathers are proud," she whispered back. After graduation, Ngozi didn't pursue high-paying hospital positions. Instead, she approached Chief Adebayo with a proposal. I want to open a community health center in Suralere for people like Mama and me, people who can't afford proper medical care. I want to make health care accessible." Chief Adebayo smiled. "I was hoping you'd say something like that. I've already purchased the building. It's yours." The Okafor Community Health Center opened 2 years later. Named after Ngozi's late father, it provided affordable health care to thousands. Sliding scale payments meant even the poorest could get treatment. Ngozi worked there 3 days a week, treating patients she understood because she'd been one of them. "I was a pizza delivery girl," she'd tell struggling young women. "I lived in a one-room apartment. I thought I'd never escape poverty. But one brave choice changed everything. Don't give up on your dreams." She established a scholarship fund called the Second Chance Fund in partnership with Chief Adebayo. Full university scholarships for young people who show promise but lack resources. They funded 50 students every year. At the first scholarship ceremony, Ngozi gave a speech that went viral. "I stood where you stand now, hopeless, struggling, thinking that poverty would define me forever. But someone believed in me. Someone saw past my worn clothes and tired face and recognized potential. Today, I'm paying that forward. You deserve a chance. You deserve education. You deserve dreams. The scholarship is yours. Don't waste it. And when you succeed, remember those still struggling and help them too. That's how we break cycles of poverty, one brave person helping another." 5 years after the trial, Ngozi and Samuel had their first child, a daughter they named Adiz, meaning princess. Chief Adebayo, now Grandpa Adebayo, cried when he held her. "A granddaughter," he whispered. "I never thought I'd have this." "You have it now," Ngozi said, "because family isn't just blood. It's love. It's choice. It's people who show up when it matters." The Okafor Community Health Center expanded to 3 locations across Lagos. Ngozi became Dr. Ngozi Williams Okafor Adeyemi, known throughout Nigeria for her work with underserved communities. Chief Adebayo's business thrived. The Williams Tech Solutions grew, and he established the Ngozi Courage Foundation, funding programs for at-risk youth, providing medical care for poor families, and rewarding everyday heroes who did extraordinary things. "You inspired this," he told Ngozi at the foundation launch. "You showed me that heroism isn't about money or power. It's about courage and compassion. That's what this foundation celebrates." Mama Okafor lived to see it all. With proper medical care, she recovered significantly. She spent her days in the garden, playing with her granddaughter Adiz, and thanking God for the miracle of that day when her daughter dove into a river to save a stranger. "I knew you were special," she'd tell Ngozi. "From the day you were born, I knew. Your father knew too. He's watching from heaven, so proud of the woman you become." 10 years after the trial, a young woman came to the health center, exhausted, wearing a food delivery uniform, desperate. "Doctor, my grandmother is sick, but I can't afford treatment. I'm just a delivery rider. I barely make enough to eat." Ngozi looked at her and saw herself at 19. "What's your name?" "Grace, ma'am." "Well, Grace, your grandmother will get the treatment she needs. Don't worry about payment. And after we handle her care, I want to talk to you about your dreams. What do you want to do with your life?" "I want to be a teacher, ma'am. But university—" "Let me tell you a story," Ngozi said, "about a pizza delivery girl who thought she'd never escape poverty, about how one brave choice changed everything, and about how you, Grace, are about to get the same chance I got." Grace left that day with her grandmother's treatment plan and an application for the Second Chance Fund scholarship. A year later, she was enrolled in university. 15 years after the trial, Chief Adebayo retired and handed Williams Tech Solutions to his carefully chosen successor. He spent his days working with the foundation, playing with his grandchildren, and traveling with Ngozi and her family. "You gave me a second life," he told Ngozi during one of their weekly dinners. "Not just because you pulled me from that river, but because you showed me what family could be, what love could be, what really matters." "You gave me a second life, too," Ngozi replied. "You saw potential in a poor pizza girl when no one else did. You believed in me. You became the father I needed. They sat in comfortable silence. A billionaire CEO and his adopted daughter, connected not by blood but by something stronger, mutual respect, love, and the memory of a moment when everything changed. 25 years after the trial, Ngozi was honored by the Nigerian Medical Association for her decades of service to underserved communities. Her 3 health centers had served over 200,000 patients. Her scholarship fund had educated 1,250 students. In her acceptance speech, she finally told the full story: the overheard murder plot, the desperate bicycle chase, the river rescue, the sting operation. I was 19 years old, poor, scared, and exhausted. I could have stayed quiet, stayed invisible, let someone else handle it. But my father taught me, when you can help, you must help. That lesson saved Chief Adebayo's life, and his gratitude transformed mine. The lesson is simple. One brave choice can change everything. Not just for you, but for everyone you'll ever touch. Choose bravery. Choose compassion. Choose to help. You never know whose life you might save. The audience gave her a standing ovation that lasted 5 minutes. 30 years after the trial, on the anniversary of the day she pulled Chief Adebayo from the river, Ngozi returned to that spot on Lekki Expressway. The barrier had been reinforced. A small memorial plaque stood nearby, not commemorating a death, but celebrating a rescue. Here, on this spot, Ngozi Okafor risked her life to save another. Her courage reminds us that heroes walk among us every day, often invisible, often unrecognized, but always vital. May this place forever symbolize the power of one brave person to change the world. Chief Adebayo, now in his 70s, stood beside her, leaning on a cane but still strong. "Do you ever regret it?" he asked. "That day, diving into that river. You could have died." Ngozi thought about everything that had flowed from that moment. Her education, her career, her family, the thousands of lives she'd touched, the hundreds of students she'd funded. Regret it? Never. That was the day I stopped being a victim of circumstances and became the author of my own story. That was the day I learned I was brave. That was the day our family began. Our family, Chief Adebayo repeated with a smile. Yes, our beautiful, chosen family. They stood together in the fading light, a father and daughter bound not by blood, but by something deeper, gratitude, love, and the memory of the moment when everything changed. And somewhere in heaven, Ngozi's father smiled, knowing his daughter had learned his most important lesson. When you can help, you must help, because that's what heroes do. Wow! From pizza delivery girl to accomplished doctor, from one-room apartment to beautiful home, from struggling for 30,000 Nigerian nairas a month to transforming thousands of lives. This is what one brave choice can do. If this story moved you, if it inspired you, if it made you believe that anything is possible, then smash that like button. Subscribe to African Tales by Zion and hit that notification bell, because we have more incredible stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Share this video with someone who needs encouragement, someone who's struggling, someone who thinks they'll never escape their circumstances. Let them know one brave choice can change everything. Drop a comment telling us, what's one brave thing you can do this week? Maybe help a stranger. Maybe pursue a dream. Maybe stand up for what's right. Be like Ngozi. Be brave. Be compassionate. Be the hero of your own story. Thank you so much for watching African Tales by Zion. Remember, you don't need to be rich or powerful to make a difference. You just need courage and a willingness to help when it matters.